I would like to deem myself an avid reader. In 2018, I set a goal for myself to read about 4 books a month. I wanted to see what I could accomplish. So 4 books a month felt pretty reasonable at the pace of reading I was previously at before setting that goal. And really my intention there was find an outlet for myself to unplug from social media and from digital devices. I work in social media for Lululemon. I am a wedding photographer and I use it as a personal consumer, and so pretty engulfed in the media. I'm pretty surrounded by screens all the time. When I'm not on my iMac editing a wedding, I'm on my little MacBook. I should be sponsored by Apple. I'm on my work computer doing work, obviously, for Lululemon in marketing. And then when I'm not on my iMac editing weddings or my work computer doing my 9-to-5 job, I am on my phone watching TikTok or scrolling through Instagram or texting friends. And then when I'm not on my phone, I'm on my iPad drawing graphics and lettering and whatnot. Pretty connected and plugged in all the time. And so the reason I chose to set this goal for myself in reading was so that I could feel tied to an accountable way to unplug from these devices. And so 4 books a month felt pretty small, felt achievable. There's a lot of books I want to reread, and there's a lot of books that friends have recommended and I've seen on different forums and whatnot that I've always wanted to read, and so yeah, it felt like a really easy to tackle goal. So the first couple of months of 2018 went by and I was reading 4 books a month. One of my top strengths is strategic, and so I had listed out the 4 books I was gonna read that month so I could make sure that there was a good flow and that I knew what I was going to be reading next instead of panicking to find what book I was going to read next. And I'm a paperback person. I love highlighting and writing in a book. It just feels so satisfying to me. More recently though, as of 2020, I started to transition to Kindle and ebooks just because my bookshelf's getting heavy, if I'm being really honest. I have no more space for books, and so I went Kindle, and I kind of like it more too because if ever I have to move, it's just easier, But I do understand that it's another device, so really maybe that's counterintuitive to what my original intention was. There were books that I would finish in a day, maybe 2, and so I would grab books from the next months that I had planned, and then kind of midway through the year, I was almost at 50, maybe 60 books. I am well beyond the 4 book maximum for each month. And at that point, I was I don't even think a 4 books per month goal is big enough. I think it just opened up my love to learn more. And I think I learn most through reading and exploring and researching and hearing from other people. And so I just kept reading and reading old books that I hadn't read since high school. So Of Mice and Men, 1984. And then I would pick up books that were inspirational to what I was currently experiencing. So a lot of self-help books around living with chronic illness, a lot of Christian-based leadership books, and then a lot of leadership books in general. So I was reading quite a few books that I felt were relevant to me at the time, and then because I was ordering them off of Amazon, I would get suggested different reads to explore or consider as my next read. It got to a point where I was dang, I just want to keep finding more to read and more to be inspired by and to learn from. By December of 2018, I read 102 books, which is absurd. 100 books in a year, I never thought I would do. I'm that kind of person who, as a person who went to Sunday school every weekend growing up, I was I'm gonna read the Bible from start to finish. From cover to cover, I'm gonna read from Genesis to Revelations. I haven't done that yet, to be honest with you. It just feels like a very daunting thing to take on, but hopefully one of these years. My tips for you, if you are somebody who enjoys reading, or if you're somebody who doesn't enjoy reading, is to read. I feel like it's kind of easy to tell yourself that you can't do it and it's impossible and you're not a reader and you're not somebody who likes reading or can sit and enjoy a book. I would challenge you to find and create a space for you to do that and explore what that could look like for you. And so if it's bringing a book to the park, if it's always having a book in your car so that when you're waiting for an oil change or a car wash, you have something to look at instead of your phone. For me, within that year, I would grab my book first thing in the morning instead of my phone. I would also read a chapter or two of whatever book I was currently on right before I went to bed instead of scrolling through my phone. And so it's pretty good discipline, and I feel it taught me how to intentionally choose what was better for me. And obviously that wasn't another device, because by the end of a workday I'd probably been on a screen for 8, 10, 12 hours, which is absurd, but I work in the media, so kind of justifiable. But yeah, also I utilized Instagram features to my benefit. I would ask my followers for book recommendations, so I wanted to hear from friends like what they were currently reading and what I would maybe enjoy. End of last year, I found a resource called Goodreads, which is a platform where you can add books that you've read to a like virtual library where you can check mark the ones that you've completed. You can track where you currently are on a book, and then you can also add things to like a desire to read, like want to read section. And so Goodreads is a really great platform for you to track books and whatnot. And so for me, I have all of mine on that platform. So if you want to know all the books I've read, I think now I'm at like 200 or so. I'll put the link in. Now I get it. They like point down because the link is below the video. Yeah, I think reading is almost like running, and I'm not even gonna go too deep into this because I'm not a runner, but I've heard from runners that you just kind of have to start somewhere, go for a walk, turn it into a jog, do a bit of a jog, and then go back to walking, run a bit, go back to jogging, walk. And so reading's kind of the same way. I shouldn't even be using this as an analogy because I don't relate. But reading could be the same way, because pick up a new book, read a chapter, put it down, come back to it. Next time you pick it up, read 3 chapters, put it down, see how that worked for you, come back to it. But set a goal for yourself to finish that book, and from there, do a little bit of research of what you like to read and what you like to entertain yourself with, and do just that. Find those books and read those. And then maybe one day your bookshelf will look as colorful and full as mine. Reading is such a gift, and there's so many ways that you can get lost in it, and it feels like you're a part of a story because it's a story being written, and it just feels invitational to unplugging from your current life into like words written by another person, whether it's fiction or like a leadership book or self-help or whatever it is that you enjoy reading. It just feels like a gift. It feels like a gift to be able to read somebody else's thoughts and learn from those things. The last thing I'll share here is that I have picked up this habit. Whenever I go and meet with somebody, I bring a book that I think that they would benefit from. And it's not like I'm forcing them to read it. I just think that it would add value to their lives as much as it has mine. And so if I'm going to meet with somebody who I know is going through a hard time with chronic illness or whatnot, then I'll look through my bookshelf to pick a book that helped me when I was going through something really hard with chronic illness. And so it's almost like a pay it forward system that I've kind of started at this point, and it feels really great to be able to create community and accountability through that form. I started a book club. No, I'm not even going to talk about that. I feel like that's going to be for another video. But anyway, 100 books I read in 2018. Over the course of my life, according to Goodreads, I'm at a little over 200 books. If I can do it, you can do it too. I am somebody who is very tied to their devices and pretty much on some sort of technology every single minute of every single day, but I have intentionally chosen to find the spaces where I can plug in printed words and dive into a good read, and that feels really soul-filling to me. So I encourage you guys to explore what reading could look like for you. Start small, pick a book that's kind of shorter and see where that could lead you. Read a fun book, read a fiction book, read something that you think can help you, read a leadership book about the ways that you can be better for yourself, for your workplace. Join a book club. Be inspired by other readers in your community. Thanks for watching. I hope that you can set yourself a goal that feels achievable and challenging at the same time towards being a reader. Bye.